Welcome everyone to a casted game for Age of Empires 4! And today, spawning on the west side of the map, playing in blue, we've got Aoe4 playing as the Tughlaq dynasty. And his opponent today, spawning in on the east side of the map, playing in red, is none other than his brother Aoe4, playing as the Macedonian dynasty. Welcome everyone to Dry Arabia. Now, I hope you guys are having a great morning, good afternoon, and good evening, as usual. I know we're featuring a lot of Dry Arabia, but you know what, actually, I think I've got to find some other maps, because obviously, Dry Arabia is generally the bread and butter, but maybe we can mix in some jam, maybe some gorge, maybe some cliffside. We'll have to see what we can find. But what we can find, and what the elephant is finding, is a lot of sheep. Wait a minute. Oh no, this is so broken. This is unbelievable. Now, I had a feeling this could happen. Essentially, you're going to need the worker elephants anyway, so you might as well make them. And the scouts, like, they cost 65 food. A worker elephant costs essentially 75 resources. Extra 10 resources, you get a worker elephant out of it. It spawns instantly. And guess what? You can pick up sheep. This is so broken in the early game. Like, what the heck? This is so strong. Like, if you think about it, like, other civilizations that get more scouts, like the Rus, you have to build hunting cabins or idle your town center. With the Tughlaq dynasty, you have to do neither. I'm just kind of curious to see how many sheep he brings in and how few sheep the Macedonian dynasty get. Like, he's got, oh no, he's got 3 so far. Like, guys, that's just wrong. That's just wrong. Oh dear. And I mean, look how much of the map is already scouted out here, Wham. Compared to his brother Aoe4, he's got half the map already scouted. Absolutely bonkers. That should not be allowed, but I'm sure that will be patched soon. I hope. If not, I think we I don't know what to say. I mean, I guess there's other ways around this. Maybe I guess anyway they need the sheep, the Tughlaq dynasty, because they've got a weaker economy elsewhere. Maybe, who knows. Although the worker elephant does give you an extra 5% drop off of resources, which is quite snazzy. 17 sheep, guys. 17. Macedonian dynasty. We've got 0 underneath the town center so far, because the scout is frantically looking for some. It's got 4 sheep. Oh, that's so bad. All right, well, there we go, ladies and gents. That's how you want to play the Tughlaq dynasty in the early game. Get plenty of worker elephants and scout around. Imagine team games. Imagine you had 4 players going Tughlaq dynasty, all getting all the sheep off the map. That'd be devastating. Either way, taking up to the next stage, we've got Dome of the Faith for the Tughlaq dynasty, giving them cheaper healer elephants, which we will come on to talk about a little bit later and how crazy they can be. We've got the Grand Winery for the Macedonian dynasty. Now, I would like to say, by the way, a very big thank you for all the YouTube channel members and the Twitch subscribers for the extra support. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, what I would love to say is that, you know, the viewership has been climbing on the channel, mostly because we're posting actual videos these times. We've been away for a little bit, but yeah, posting videos actually helps. But more than that, you guys have hopefully been enjoying the games. And if you have, I have a small request, completely free. If you wouldn't mind, I'm doing a bit of a test with YouTube these days, with like checking how much of an impact certain things make with the algorithm. If you can give me your favorite emoji in the comment section below. Takes a second, but it's going to give me an idea, actually. I wonder how many, like if we get a certain number of comments, how many more impressions I'll get on the videos. But yeah, that's just by the by. Whilst nothing really happens in this kind of dark age, figured I'd mention that nice and early. All right, well, in the end, 6 sheep brought home, compared to the 17, the Tughlaq dynasty, 16 they have now, an extra 10 extra sheep. That is a huge amount of food. That means in the feudal age, in the cast of any age, apart from the imperial age, but up until that point, it's going to give him so many reserves of food, and it's going to give him an opportunity to not really need farms for a very long time. And that means you can keep pumping out those units, which is looking to be coming out pretty quickly, actually. It looks like it's going to get a raider elephant opening. Just kind of curious. It's a raider elephant rush. Kind of curious. It's going to be interesting. Now, they do move very, very fast. Pretty cute with the wagon tails as well. You've seen soon enough. It's going to be stable for the Macedonian dynasty. Now, kind of curious with that choice, because you can actually look to get a Varangian stronghold, which you can make your Varangian units for, but doesn't give you cavalry, right? So, and it does give you the Ridari, but those are in the castle age. So stable here could give him horsemen, probably, most likely. That's the only reason why. Oh, more scouts. Wait, what? Okay. Wham has been, he's enjoying this quite a lot these days, going professional scouts. And I guess in a sense, it's not a bad idea because you do get the 30% buffering on the food gathering from the Grand Winery. Couple that with the survival techniques can be very powerful. Yeah, I think Wham is still quite a, he's a firm believer in the pro scouts situation. At least he's testing it out. Here's the first radio elephant. Look at his little tail wagging. One of my favourite units of the new DLC for sure. His wagging little tail. Anyway, enough of that. Oh, did look to build a Varangian stronghold, just getting it a bit closer to the town centre, right? So he's not sort of totally ambushed by the radio elephant. It's super fast, actually. Pretty tanky too, as it goes. Oh, tramples on in. Look, it's going to stampede. Stampede, stampede, stampede. Now, the thing is, this doesn't do too much, like damage against buildings, not huge amounts, so... but still, it's going to be chipping away at this Varangian stronghold. I'm going to try and snipe out some of these scouts. Now, we were talking about this earlier, but professional scouts has been nerfed a little bit, so when the deer carcasses are on the backs of the scouts, they do lose a bit of food on them. They have a bit of a decay, so you're kind of left with less of the food. I was kind of curious to radio elephant opening. Okay, for an outpost in the god, may suggest potentially a fast castle behind this, or maybe just wants to keep it protected, right? And to be fair, when you've got this number of sheep, maybe a fast castle could be a good option. Because you need food, and this is one way to get it. Yeah, I mean, with a deer camp this close, you're probably going to be getting that in anyway. Eventually. Oh, bit of a raid here. Horseman on the field to try and deny the... Oh, it might get... No, I don't think he gets the villager there. Just about survives, but... Oh, maybe... He's got to be careful. Yeah, maybe, actually. Yeah, gets him. Oh, that's a good trade there for Wham, for sure. Gets the villager for the horseman. No doubt about it. Want to be getting the villager kills if you can. Alright, well. Now, one thing to bear in mind, we said we're going to talk about it later, with the healer elephants, right? So, these guys are tanky boys, but the thing that I'm so surprised about is that these guys can actually attack. The healer elephants can attack, and in fact, their attack is boosted by nearby infantry. And the reason why that's kind of crazy is because, well, any other healing unit in this age, in the feudal age, has generally always never been able to attack. So why should these guys attack? I mean, the worker elephants can't attack, and so when you have a unit that can attack as well as heal, it's kind of crazy. I'm going to go for the tughlaq bad fort. Going to offer some protection on the deer, right? So he had the early warning of the horseman coming on in, so he says, all right, we're not having that. We're going to keep things safe and secure. Also, we'll give access to having, well, you can choose your governor to give you some extra bonuses. We'll talk about that once it's built. We'll bring up the overlay to see what we have access to. There are some cool ones, actually. Now, the raid elephants, let's talk about stats, right? How fast do these guys actually move? 1.6 tiles per second compared to a horseman, 1.88. So, yeah, it's still slower than a horseman, but likely to be faster than a spearman. We can click on one, yeah, quite significantly. Charge that down, surprisingly. Now, the thing about the raid elephants, they're not really they're not really great against spearmen, of course, still. They're mostly against ranged infantry, so things like crossbowmen, archers. But ultimately, if you can get some hits and then heal on up, then it's never really a bad thing. So Wham, it's it's pumping out a lot of units. Getting pattern wielding as well to increase the melee damage. They're sending a lot of Atgamether, which is basically their spearmen. Yeah, I'm kind of curious how the extra sheep's going to help Papipo and his timings, or at least the lack of needing farms early-ish. See, he's already almost to the castle age. Granted, he did invest a lot less in terms of army. I wonder what he's going to go up with. Could be the House of Learning. Could be the Compound of the Defender. Remains to be seen. Now, the Compound of the Defender is actually something you kind of need if you go for the tughlaq fort. Because, well, not necessarily have to, but... So, the Shahi walls, and then the next upgrade after that, both come as standard, regardless of whether you get the Compound of the Defender or not. But if you want the third upgrade, which is unlocked by whichever governor you choose, you do need Compound of the Defender. This is really awkward actually for Puppy Paw because this army's come at the worst possible time. He's taking up. It could be denied actually as things happen. And the Raider Elephant coming on in should pick off a villager or two. But the big thing is the House of Learning has been stopped. He's garrisoning the villagers inside. Oh, torches. Cancel it. Cancel it. Oh, uh-oh. Okay, he had to, but he's lost it. He lost quite a big chunk of resources doing that. He can't actually afford Castle Age now because of it. Yet, anyway. Heal Elephant. Oh, that's a big pick off. These are expensive boys. That Gemehro did so good. Doesn't want to go into the tughlaq fort though, that's for sure. Now, we've got a couple of choices. Governor of Ajmer gives you the recruitment of the Amir warriors. They're pretty snazzy. Maybe we'll come on to that a little bit later. The Governor of Bakar gives you extra bit of food income. And also the tughlaq fort acts as a drop-off point. But we're going to have to come back to that in just a moment. Might kill a worker elephant potentially here. And the raider elephants running away. Onto the wood line, blocking them in. Now the town center will do a lot of damage. There's a lot of idle time actually. 14 out of 37 villages are idled right now. That is a significant chunk of the economy halting for the Tughlaq dynasty rather. Significant number. Red elephants, got to be careful here. We'll lose one. Down he goes. Yeah, but on that thought, still harassing. A couple of archers popping out. And that Gameth are just not, they're not afraid at all. I mean, ultimately, why not? I mean, he's not up against many archers. Picks up another elephant. Probably won't want to dive underneath the tughlaq fort though. Fighting up the villains. Shouldn't be able to kill any more there, but idles them out at least. I imagine we have a bit of downtime at this point. So you've got the Governor of Bakar. We talked about the food. We've got the Governor Jala. Cavalry trained within the influence of this tughlaq fort or Tower Victory produce units with 20, 35, 50 extra health. The Governor of Multan. Town centers gain extra production speed depending on the age. Relics and sacred sites generate 20% extra gold for the Governor of Sehwan. And the units healed by healer elephants gain extra damage. Interesting. I think it's pretty cool about the Tughlaq dynasty. They can keep these scholars, these imams, ready and waiting to pick up the relics. And bear in mind, actually looking at what he's chosen the Governor of Uch, which reduces the cost of researching technologies by 15-20%, 25, and but it doesn't apply to emplacements. Okay, cool. Something to bear in mind. But yeah, depending on which governor you have, the third tier of this upgrade changes. There's that Castle Age in for Puppy Paw. It's going to be the cistern of the first hill for the Macedonian dynasty. Gives them a bit of a boosting of work rate of military or research buildings, depending on what you use. Also, you could use them on a resource gathering, drop-off point rather. Gives you extra resources that way. Nice little boost for them. Trying to keep himself safe and secure. These villagers though, oh, they're not villagers actually, they're veteran archers. They of course can deploy the walls. Oh, scout runs into trouble. Yeah, pretty quiet phase of the game. But, I mean, as you can see, I think he's still on the sheep, would you believe? Whereas, of course, Wham's had to get some farms, even though, even still, like, they're pretty even in terms of the timings they got. And surprised that actually, I mean, I guess it comes down to the fact that the extra gather rate on the food for the Grand Winery is pretty useful here. Gonna go for the Varangian Stronghold. But relics should really come thick and fast for the Tughlaq dynasty, you feel? Because they can get the imams prepared and ready, which the Macedonian dynasty can't, but they're still pretty nifty, the fact they can get the scholars from the monks from the Grand Winery. Not got any just yet. Focusing on army just for now. And he's getting quite a few of these at Gemether. Elephants are going to look to try and take care of the cavalry, but they're not really designed to do that. It's got a body block anyway. And the lancers will certainly hold their own and do well for this. Going up against this number of at Gemether, though, could be very troublesome. Raider elephant around the back. It's pretty tanky, that's for sure. Just a couple more volleys will take him out. Down he goes. relatively even population split. Looks like the Tughlaq dynasty trying to just keep things intact and secure with the walls. Understandably so, because movement speed isn't really on his side, right? I mean, the elephants are good, but this is the only elephant that can move particularly fast. Everything else, pretty slow. Now, with the relic situation, we actually have one in place for the Tughlaq dynasty, one more on the way. I'll forget that for a second, because these Aoe4 thought about running on in. Villagers off of gold. Now, yeah, this is an issue that this forward gold it's going to be troublesome. The tughlaq fort was prioritizing the food. Now this gold's becoming an issue. Not enough stone for another tughlaq fort anytime soon. Now, what's kind of curious is going for Aoe4. Now, what can Papipo go for against this? Probably archers. I feel like crossbows is... I mean, archers is often a natural play, but the thing is, if you go for archers rather than crossbows, it means your enemy can go for the ridari. And yeah, that's going to be a problem to deal with. Although mass elephants could work quite well, and then you got a situation where it's elephants versus whatever Macedonian dynasty can make, and I guess in that sense it's got to be crossbowmen. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of curious because I feel like Wham has got most of the map control right now, so he feels confident just sticking with the ridari, but the big thing is if that kind of fails, if that massive ridari is gone, it allows Papipo to really concentrate on war elephants and doesn't necessarily need to make too many crossbows. But it's got to find a way to deal with this though. The fact they can just run in, it's going to snipe the Imam. Goes for the Wallalay, but obviously not going to happen. Gets sniped. Ridari gonna run on in. Question is, how much damage can they get? Not much eco damage to get here. A couple of the... oh, both die at the same time. Unfortunate for those Elephantos. Yeah. Oh, he's hiding the archers. I think he's really trying to hide the archers, although there's a couple there that's been exposed. So maybe not hiding it enough. Ridari gonna back away. So Aoe4 are less relevant now, but no counter to the Ridari yet. Maybe he's gonna have to add his own crossbows, right? Either way, palisading up. Gonna buy some time. Yeah, I fully expect the Tughlaq dynasty to add some crossbows. And to be honest with you, the same for the Macedonian dynasty, because as the war elephant numbers build up, it's going to be tricky to stick with the Ridari, because these guys do get cavalry damage, right? So, I mean, they just, to be honest, they just get a heck of a lot of damage, but they get a plus 40 versus cavalry, which is, is bonkers. Obviously, the movement speed is not on their side, but they can trample to try and gap close, and at some point you get a force that you just can't push away anymore. Like, if it's a big force, they just dive on in. It becomes a real problem. And then the movement speed becomes less relevant because, well, the elephants are in your base. Can't kite them out your own base. Just trying to find some value here. Checking the board. Nothing to be found. Gold in the south being taken. Now, what's interesting actually is that in many seasons ago, we often talked about how there was a stage where you'd start fighting for the middle. And it feels like both players are pretty content of just booming away and then fighting in the middle. Rather than fighting for the resources in the middle. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but there was always once a time where often players would try and rush a castle or a keep in the middle. So you obviously, get that resource secure. The 8,000 gold veins basically is what I'm talking about. These chunky boys. But neither player really prioritizing it just yet. I mean, they've got plenty of gold back at home, I suppose. They can just focus on the relics. That's the first one, though, actually, for the Macedonian dynasty. Ooh, Papipo. He nearly spotted it. He might steal, actually. Oh, no, he's going the wrong way. He thought he was going around the long route, but actually he's going the direct route back to home. All right, let's take a look at the army, though, because we've got Varangian guards, crossbows, and Ridari. Basically, yeah, I think it's a pretty strong army composition, but there's a lot of elephants here. 4 of them. There's healer elephants too. I don't think there's enough healers, though. Only 2 of them. The elephants are tanking heavily, allowing man-at-arms behind them for the Tughlaq dynasty. Pretty sure, yeah, those are man-at-arms. But the archers are focusing on the crossbows, which is exactly what they need to do. But the moment you lose out on the focus fire, they're not going to do much else. Not to the Ridari, at least. There's a good fight here overall here for Papipo. He does lose an elephant. That's a big pick. Like, every elephant that dies is a big loss for the Tughlaq dynasty because these are very expensive. Adding in more healer boys. Now bear in mind, the healer boys can attack as long as, well, they can attack anyway, but the more infantry you have around, the better. I'll switch into Varangian guards. Maybe could be on the cards here for the Macedonian dynasty, which will work really well for them. But I gotta say, I like the idea of just crossbows, right? When you're up against a lot of elephants and you're worried about more elephants, the crossbows are your best friend. He's got a decent chunk of them, actually, as it happens. A line of them. Snipes that healer elephant. Yeah, this is not going to last here for Paw. And the bigger thing is, on the retreat, he's going to lose more. Only 2 healer elephants. Yeah, he's going to lose on the war elephant. The crossbow numbers looking really solid for the Macedonian dynasty. And look at this. He's got the ranged armor. Wait, where's that? Where's the... Okay, we'll check on that just a second, but I'm kind of interested in the ranged damage. There we go. Yeah, level 2. See, making the crossbows that much more effective. It's fun. I feel like Wham was... Yeah, it was a good one for him. It was a good one for him. Gonna head back and protect the main front of the base with the tughlaq fort. Wham, with a good amount of food coming in. I wonder if he's got the farms yet. There they are. They're set up. And this is where it becomes really exciting for the Macedonian dynasty because they've got the farm transition, but it's all boosted up by 30%, right? And the Tughlaq dynasty doesn't have such a bonus. Yeah, they get 5% drop-off extra, but I mean, come on. Compare that to the 30% on the Grand Winery. It just does not compare. So the economy should start to scale for the Macedonian dynasty really well. Now, I think the food is still looking good, though, for the Tughlaq dynasty. I'm kind of curious why. Is it because he's on deer still? I guess he is, but not a huge number of villagers on the deer. I guess he's got a farming transition on the way as well. Let's take a look at the number of villagers raw. 22 versus... Okay, I mean, that's kind of... Wait, what? Wham's not that far ahead in terms of food gathering, despite having like 9 extra villagers. I mean, it's a decent chunk, but maybe some villagers are kind of just setting up as we speak. There are a lot of moving villagers here. Getting the sacred sites. Yeah, let's take a look at what they're actually making. Yeah, he's continuing with the archers. The thing about the Tughlaq dynasty archers, there's nothing real special about them. So I don't know how I feel about going for this. It's going to be rough because you're going to get heavily armored units from the Macedonian dynasty for sure in the Castle Age or any civilization really. And these archers are only going to be really good for at Germether and maybe just focusing on the crossbows. But the issue is he has kind of no choice actually, people, to be fair, because, you know, the Tughlaq dynasty don't get horsemen. And I think this is a big thing for them actually. The fact they don't get horsemen is huge. Obviously it means they can't get wrapped around on the crossbows, also have relatively slow moving units. Yeah, it's a big one actually. I can't help but think actually, the best unit to go up against Tughlaq dynasty has got to be crossbows, right? Because, I mean, what answer do they have? They have no answer to it. They've got mangonels maybe, but you have to have a good few of them, right? When there's a critical mass of crossbows like this, the mangonels can often be focus fired down. The crossbows are great against elephants. They'll trade relatively well against the archers. They'll do well against man-at-arms. He's got a couple of Varangian guards just to tank in the middle and the front line, and that's the right thing to have. And if he could focus on the healer elephants, he'd be in a good spot, but he focuses on a war elephant, takes that down. Nice engagement here for Wham. I gotta say, overall, the army just looking better, and I feel like it's a real problem. But the Tughlaq dynasty don't get horsemen. Gets another war elephant down, and now he's gonna back away. He's taking out some 2 premium units, no need to rush. Oh, he's taking out a good couple of shots in the Stealth Forest there, nicely done. This is great work here by Wham, kiting as much as he can. Still a couple of man-at-arms though for the Tughlaq dynasty. They'll tank quite a bit. Well, to be fair, they're met head-on with the Varangian guards. He loses a healer elephant. This is huge. Every elephant that goes down is a big loss for the Tughlaq dynasty. Bear in mind, it's actually on the boar in the north. He's gathering some useful food income that way. Or might lose a couple of villages there in the gold vein. Not protected. We'll lose a couple. So the archers do find some value for sure. It continues to be chased, and the numbers aren't looking good here for the archers. They're going to start to dwindle, and then what does he have against the crossbows? I guess it's got to be raider elephants. But the thing about raider elephants, when you compare it to a horseman, which is what they replaced, they're significantly more expensive and a lot slower. I mean, they're fast generally, but they're still slower than horsemen, so it'd be hard to get a flank around these crossbows. Yeah, kind of curious, because if you think about it, like, having a high pool of HP on a unit is great if you're healing them up. But raider elephants, they don't really take on the role of something that should be like dependent on healing. Because if you have horsemen, for example, yeah, you can run in and run out, but ultimately they're never really going to be engaging in like a straight up fight, usually. Like, they want to hit and run, sort of surround and get a wraparound. But you never just sort of use them to head on collide with stuff, right? So the healer elephants often won't be with them, because the healer elephants just can't keep up. They won't be flanking with the army, usually. They're usually with a part of a main force, brute forcing their way through. So, yeah, conceptually a bit tricky for the raider elephant to fully replace a horseman in terms of what the horseman does and can achieve. And I love the fact there's so many crossbows here for Wham. It's going to put him in a really strong position. Now, they've got equal numbers of army, but when you look at the army value, that tells a story. Starts the engagement, gets some man-at-arms down. Is he going to rush into this? Maybe. There's a good number of spearmen, but again, I mean, the spearmen will get ripped apart by the Varangian guards, get ripped apart by the crossbowmen. A couple of Radari on the back. This is a good fight, I think, for Wham. He's also reinforcing really close. Like, he's got an archery range, a Varangian stronghold as well, adding in units. This could be very problematic for the Tughlaq dynasty. Also, bear in mind, like, the tiers are not capped here. He can just keep on going. He's got, look at that. He's got the increased range damage. He's got the 4th technology out of 6. So these guys will be hitting hard. Plus 10 versus heavy. And that's one big bonus for the Macedonian dynasty. It's their Varangian arsenal. Essentially the equivalent of the blacksmith upgrades. That's what's making these units do so well. Look at that. He's got the armor. He's got everything he needs. Level 4 on the ranged damage extra. The 3rd tier of the melee attack. It's looking solid. Also the 3rd armor upgrade for the ranged units. Getting an outpost too. And it means that actually your enemy can't really match you, right? Like these units are like Castle Age 0.5. Like halfway between Castle Age and Imperial Age units, considering the upgrades they've got now. At least in terms of damage output. How's good a... I mean... Has that been upgraded? Looks like it's been upgraded. Looks nice. Gotta say. Going for the Governor Vajmer here. Well, engaging in the fight. Even underneath the Tughlaq Aoe4, he doesn't really seem to care. I guess it's because of the armor he's got. The Varangian guards super tanky. Radari numbers are starting to dwindle. Yeah, he started to add in his own crossbowman here, Puppy Paw, but is it too little too late? I mean, it kind of feels like it. The army's so strong. By the way, he's got Trebuchet working on the back line. The counterweight Trebuchet against the Tughlaq Aoe4. It's not looking too good here for Puppy Paw. It's kind of wild that Wham is just fighting underneath the Tughlaq Aoe4. He doesn't care. Well, in any case, he's slowly making some headway. Yeah, Puppy Paw is struggling. He's got a really good food economy, but he's not able to pump out units in this timing. It's great for Wham. He's reinforcing heavily. He's losing most of his elephants, and where does that leave the Tughlaq dynasty? He's just running on in, diving on in. It's just the one trebuchet, but it looks like it's going to be enough to take that Tughlaq Aoe4 down pretty quickly. Just a couple more shots and it will be done. Apparently they constantly keep streaming in units. This army composition, hugely strong. Varangian guards and the crossbowmen. Yep, Puppy Paw, he is struggling. Look at the army numbers. He has to find a way to stabilize it. He really wants... The thing is, the reason why he's fighting here is because he really wants this Tughlaq Aoe4, right? Although, to be fair, the damage output is not really coming in from torch damage from the units. It's really the trebuchet. So, I don't know if he wants to just group up his army and then take a big fight. But maybe he just doesn't want to give away more ground. And to be fair, if he does lose the Tughlaq Aoe4, it's a big loss for him. But I think he might anyway. Runestone's deployed as well. Holy smokes. Going to be able to recruit some Emir warriors, but I don't know if they're going to be able to come out anytime. Making his way forward. Going for this Tughlaq Aoe4 now. 30 minutes of the game. The food economy is wild, though, for Papipur. The trouble is the elephants cost so much. 2,400 food per minute. The big concern is the army. And silver coming in abundance here for the Varangian. And the Macedonian dynasty is going to break through this tughlaq Aoe4. He's even got a mangonel. That's going to be devastating for any crossbows. He's got one raider elephant. This is not looking good. Doesn't seem to be able to produce units fast enough. He's spending what he's got, though. He's knocking at his door now. Some farms in the north. He's got full control of gold, right? So this gold won't last. Well, in fact, it's barely any. He's running out. This is not looking good. He's going to be out of gold before too long. He's about to fight. About to engage. Spearmen. Elephants. Running on in. But Mangonel's about to deploy. The 2 trebuchets now. Mangonel deploys. Massive shot on the crossbows on the back line. That was a heavy hit there for Papipur. No doubt about it. Raider Elephants is there. It does trample on through. The Raider Elephants is designed for the crossbows, but they just get absolutely destroyed, right? Another trample coming in from another Raider Elephant, but again goes down really quickly. Healer Elephants there, but just one only. Now, we'll be getting reinforcements close to the fight, but look at the sheer numbers. Another Mangonel shot. Doesn't quite land, but it's still alive. He might lose the Mangonel, but he gets another good shot, so it's worth it in the end. Now, the Trebuchet is going to be taking out production buildings. That means it doesn't matter how much strong your economy is. If you've got no production buildings, you're not going to be converting that food into army. Papipur, yeah, he's struggling. There it is. GG gets called. A cracking game of Age of Empires 4, despite all the sheep that the tughlaq had. The Macedonian dynasty do triumph on Dry Arabia. Now, I'll tell you what. This was a cracking game, but I've got another one lined up for you. It's with the Golden Horde, with Papipur versus Wham. It was a cracking one. If you haven't seen it already, I'll leave it as an end card on your screen right now. Take care, and see you next time.